I'd like to call the June 12th meeting of the Montgomery County Planning Commission to order. Mr. Lincoln, you'll perform a roll call.
Sir, Commissioner Kroll. Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Ms. Sharp Robinson.
Here.
Ms. Simpkins.
Here.
Mr. Woltz.
Here.
Mr. Workman.
Here.
Secretary is here. Vice Chair Foster.
Here.
And Chair Rice.
Here.
We have a quorum.
And the next item is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections?
So moved.
We have a motion for approval in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed likewise. And then we have approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda consisting of the Planning Commission meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed likewise. Motion carries. And at this time, we'll open the floor for public address. Any citizen would like to approach the commission, they're welcome to do so. And seeing none, we will close the public address portion of the meeting. And then we'd like to enter into work session. If we have a motion to enter into work session? Motion? Motion and second for entering into work session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed likewise. Motion carries. And so we have a request for rezoning of 47 acres from agriculture to RR rural residential to construct a 14-lot subdivision. And if Mr. Sanders would give us an overview, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. So we do have a rezoning request. You'll be familiar with this property. We had an application several months ago for an inert debris fill site on this property. It's located off Brammer Lane. You can see there on the left the aerial image of the property. That is, again, accessed off of Brammer Lane. The GIS is actually showing that portion of Brammer Lane there at the edge of the property as a private. However, that is in VDOT maintenance. However, VDOT has not been maintaining that frontage road, but it is within the state system. Again, you can see the proximity there to the Interstate 81 interchange there at exit 118C, accessed off of Houchins Road. Then the image on the right, that is your zoning map showing that the property is currently zoned A1 agricultural. The light blue there to the left, that is the Houchins Road redevelopment that was approved by the Board of Supervisors. That's the mixed use, multifamily townhomes, as well as single family detached and single family attached. Moving on to the proposed request, again, it is a rezoning from A1 to rural residential. The proposal is to create a 14-lot residential subdivision with private streets. The community would be a gated community. They have already built and installed the guardhouse and the fence there on the property. And as you'll see there, a large portion of the property is to be dedicated to open space, recreational trails, and other natural features. Because of the fact that this is a gated community, they would be privately maintained streets. However, they do have to be built to VDOT standards in terms of width, grade, paving material, etc. We have already discussed at length with the applicant and his engineer of the need to ensure navigability of emergency services vehicles in those cul-de-sacs. But you can see along the bottom there, that is Brammer Lane. And while Brammer Lane extends to the property line, those 3 lots that front Brammer would actually be accessed from within the development. You can see the stormwater management area there adjacent to lot number 10. That would be held within the open space that would be maintained by the HOA. The recreational trails originally were to be included on the lots, but after some discussion with staff, those have also been moved into the common space area so that those could be maintained by the HOA. The fill area you can see there is adjacent there to Lot 10. That would have to, any properties that were to be built on that fill area would have to meet a compaction test before any development could occur. The lots there are varying in size. Those lots along Bramber Lane, you can see they're a little over an acre to acre and a half, and then the other lots in the subdivision are around 3 acres, a little bit more. The reason for that is for the acceptance of private streets, the median lot size needs to be 3 acres in that area. The comprehensive plan has this area designated as rural in the comprehensive plan. Residential development is allowed in the rural area. However, it needs to be of a lower density. The property is able to connect to the town of Christiansburg Public Water, but they are proposing private drain fields. Again, that helps keep the density down on the property, and that rural residential zoning designation is what we would be looking for in a rural area in the comprehensive plan in terms of how we would like to see any residential development occur in that area. We do have Michael Gay. He is the agent for this property. If you have any questions of him or if you have any questions of staff at this time, we'll be glad to answer those for you. And what we would be looking for this evening is just authorization from the commission to schedule the public hearing for July the 10th. Any questions for staff before Mr. Gay comes up?
I guess I got one.
Okay.
How are the 3 lots adjacent to Bramer Road accessed internally? Because it looks like it ends in a cul-de-sac.
So
And
if
then
you
you're going
see
through.
there, and it's a bit hard to see on the size of the image, you can see the existing guard building there in the middle of that private street.
Yes.
You'll notice there's a hatched area there. That's an access easement that goes off of that primary road and actually accesses those 3 parcels. It's the darker shaded gray there along Bramer Lane. But that's actually inside the fenced area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? All right. Mr. Gay, they have any questions for him? He can come forward.
Did you want to address the commission? Not necessarily. Thank you very much. And then we have a request for a special use permit to allow construction of a freestanding telecommunications tower on Childress Road. And Ms. Wright is going to give us an overview of that permit.
Mr. Chair, was there any objection to scheduling public hearing on July 10th? All right, thank you.
Freestanding telecommunications tower on Childress Road in the Reiner area. On the left, we have a vicinity map right in the bottom left-hand corner where you can see the star. That is the requested site. On the right is the vicinity map that shows the aerial photography, and the outline in yellow, that is the lot that will be hosting the site. The company is proposing to lease a 75 by 75 foot area from Mr. Reginald Duncan. Mr. Duncan has done a boundary line adjustment to allow for that tower to be placed on his property. With property that he also owns. The property in the area is zoned agricultural, which allows for this use by special use permit. The request is for a 197-foot monopole with a lightning rod, and that does not require any additional documentation from the FAA regarding any airports, including the Virginia Tech Airport. Are there any questions for myself? We do not have a representative from the company, and Mr. Duncan was out of town. But if you have any questions, I believe the applicant is watching via our YouTube channel, and I will get them onto him tomorrow so that we can get those answered for you at the public hearing next month.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
That's right. I can't remember how long ago it was, 2 or 3 years. We did a balloon test on a tower off of Route 8 to the east. How tall was that tower to be?
100.
I was thinking that too, yeah. And we do have balloon tests for this site as well. I think they photographed the balloon from 23 different locations, and that will be included in your packet for next month.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions?
I will point out, so when we went on the site visit for this application this afternoon, Mr. Rice and Mr. Miller sort of looked at the site. We asked if there were any conditions that they would recommend us considering to add to the SUP based on any special topographical features or anything on the site. Nothing really came up to them. I'm not sure if any of you had an opportunity to drive by the site on your own. If you want to do so before the 1st of July, if you see anything that you thought staff should include as a condition, please pass that along to us, and we'll include that in your packet for next month.
It seemed to me as you travel down Childress Road, I don't think you're going to be able to see the base. It's over behind the barn and the silos and so forth. So I don't think it's not going to be very obvious. Although a 200-foot tower pole, you're going to see the pole, but the base will be hidden, I think. Thank you very much, Ms. Wright.
No, you're welcome.
And we do not have any items of old business, nor any items of,
You want to get it on the agenda for July 10?
oh, that's true. Do we have a consensus to add this to the agenda for July 10th? We have consensus. No items of old business and no items of new business as well. And so we will move into our liaison reports. And Mr. King, with the Board Supervisor, you're up first if you'd like to give us an update.
Thank you, sir. Yep, we had several meetings and we're working on some people want us to have a satellite voting in Blacksburg for the last 2 weeks of November's election, so we're looking at that, and we did pass the budget, and we're got the contract signed for the new park outrigger, so they're supposed to start on it, and we're having paid fire and EMS down Elliston to help with the volunteers on that end of the county. And as far as PSA goes, we're moving forward with the Meadow Creek water connections to the water authority, and we're expecting it to be done probably the middle of August, be flowing water.
Yeah, great.
But again, I appreciate each and every one of you for serving in this.
Thank you, sir. And a report from the Blacksburg Planning Commission. Ms. Hyde? Okay.
I know tomorrow evening they are holding an open house about their Northwest Precinct plan. This is for the area along Progress Street, where they've been talking for several years now about a parking structure behind some of the downtown businesses. So that open house is tomorrow evening.
Thank you. And the Christiansburg Planning Commission, I don't believe they have a meeting. And I noticed that the meeting for this month has been canceled as well. Radford Planning Commission, Ms. Simpkins?
Just a quick update. I did attend the April 15th meeting, and on their agenda, they talked about a work session they had for zoning ordinance update. So that's what they're putting their time into. And they did have one special use permit for a similar property that we had similar purpose we had approved with the RV parking space. So I think they were working on that. And then they canceled their May meeting, so I haven't heard about the June meeting yet. But yeah, they're just working on their zoning ordinance update right now.
Okay, thank you. And the Tourism Council with Mr. Miller?
I was unable to attend their last meeting. No report.
Okay. And Parks and Recreation with Mr. Workman?
We haven't met, so no report.
Okay, thank you. And so that takes us to the Planning Director's report. Mr. Saunders, are you going to fill us in on that?
Yes, I am not. Ms. Hopkins is on vacation this week. She sends her best to everyone. Do have some updates. First, I want to start by introducing you to Riley Thompson. Riley, would you please stand? So Riley is our planning intern this summer. She is a master's student at Virginia Tech studying urban and regional planning. She also did her undergraduate degree in planning at Virginia Tech. We've been really excited to have her in the office. She's already helped us out a great deal in the past few weeks. Riley's focus is transportation, so we've been keeping her quite busy with the transportation plan and pulling some exhibits together for us for our joint meeting that we're going to have with you next week. She's also been giving us a lot of assistance with the comp plan, so we just wanted to say welcome to Riley.
Thank you.
Speaking of the comprehensive plan, as a reminder, tomorrow evening we have our first open house event for Montgomery Matters. That's going to be here in this building on the first floor in the atrium space as well as in multipurpose room 1. It begins at 5:30. It is a drop-in event that lasts until 7:30. We will have multiple stations that are set up to provide information to the public. With our consulting team and our staff, we'll be answering questions and getting input from folks. There has been an extensive amount of work that has gone into the open house, so we really hope if you are available tomorrow evening that you'll stop by, see the data that's already been collected, and learn a little bit more about the process moving forward. Also tomorrow evening, we will be launching the public input survey. That's going to be going up on the Montgomery Matters website as well as in paper form that we'll be distributing to several locations around the county. Those forms can be turned in at any of the public libraries or here at the Government Center. We're also going to be using those hard copy surveys when we get out into the community at various events. So the survey itself is about 20 questions. It's not super long. We were really happy with the product that we received from our consultants. It's very accessible and user-friendly. We made sure that we weren't using jargon, we weren't using language that was going to be hard for folks in the community to understand. And again, we wanted to make sure that we had that digital option for folks because we do know that that's a very popular option, but we do know that there are residents in our county that do not have access to reliable internet. And that the paper copy would be something that would be good for them. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have it on a card or something that you can pass out to?
Yes, so we are really relying on that Montgomery Matters website, and every piece of promotion that we do has a QR code that links directly to the website. We have worked with the consultants. We have some pamphlets that tell the community about the process that link directly back to the survey. We also have some postcards that have been created for citizens to provide comment. They can either drop those in the mail to us, or we're also going to have drop boxes at all the libraries here in this building and at the Animal Care and Adoption Center. So multiple places for people to be able to drop those if they don't want to put them in the mail. They will be available tomorrow evening at the open house. They're coming from our consultants in Charlottesville. They're coming down with them tomorrow. But we'll have all that available tomorrow evening. I'll make sure to bring copies Monday evening to the joint meeting as well, and we'll have some next month for this meeting as well. So we're really excited about that. I hope you all be able to join us tomorrow evening. Again, please bear with us as we continue to build out the website. If you are on there and you see something that we need to take care of immediately, please shoot me an email and we'll get that taken care of in real time for you. As I mentioned, we will have our joint meeting with the Board of Supervisors on Monday evening. That will be held out at the Cross Point Center. beginning at 6:30. 6:30 we'll have dinner, and then the program will begin at 7 o'clock. Our focus for that meeting is going to be talking about all of the transportation projects that are currently going on in the county, as well as our future applications for funding for transportation. And we'll also be giving you a more comprehensive update on the comp plan as well. So we hope that you'll be able to attend. If you are not going to be able to attend, please let me know this evening, just so that we can factor that into our catering total for dinner. As you'll notice, we do already have 2 meetings scheduled for July. Staff has received a number of applications this month that we will need to bring before you. Our plan currently is to hold the meeting on the 10th and have the 2 public hearings that you set this evening. We will also be conducting site visits before that meeting, so as soon as we have finalized all those details, we'll get that out to you all and of course get everything in board docs for you. On the evening of the 10th, you will also have your packet for the 17th. We'll be doing public hearings that night as well. Again, just based on the timing of things that have come in, we will need to schedule those 2 public hearings, those 2 evenings for public hearings, just so that we can make sure that we're meeting all of our state code requirements. So we already appreciate your patience and your understanding on that. We are still in the process of searching for 2 new staff members for our office. As you'll remember that Bree shared with you last month, we were approved for 2 new positions in the budget, a zoning compliance officer and then a planner 2 that would be focused on transportation issues. Those job postings are out and we have received a few applications. We're still screening those as they come in. But we imagine that we will be able to fill at least one of those positions very early on in the new budget. And hopefully we'll have someone else in place very soon in the other position so that we will be at full staff. That is all that I have for you unless you have any questions. All right, thank you.
Any other comments or concerns? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.